Respected chair, my respected teacher, Santosh sir, my dearest friend Praveen, Nisha, respected Narayan sir, Riaz, for giving my an opportunity to interact with this IAP Trivandrum chapter, and all the members of IAP and my dearest friends. I will start my topic with a small quote by Robert M. Hutchins. He was a chancellor of Chicago University. He made a statement in 1960s. Whenever I feel like exercise, I lie down until the feeling passes. He made a funny statement, but this statement actually coincides with an era. It's a new era of lifestyle diseases. And after you know that after the late 1900, the main killer of human race become lifestyle diseases, displacing the infections. The father of medicine, Hippocrates, said, "Food and exercise are thy medicine." We continue to educate, advise our patients. Elliot Joslin is considered as the father of modern diabetic management. He said that exercise is one important part in the management of diabetes, along with proper diet and insulin. The father of modern medicine, Sir William Osler, said one of the first duties of the physician is to educate the masses not to take medicine. That means proper lifestyle is more important than becoming diseased. The advice is on, this is the new ACSM, the American College of Sports Medicine guideline 2011. It has not changed yet. The guidelines by ADA, there is the new ADA 2021 guidelines there, IDF, AHA, the advices are plenty. We are continuing advising patients, but see, where are we, the doctors, now? See, it's a word of self-criticism. This is a study published in DNA, the online magazine, in February 1, 2010. An observation of IMA Pune chapter says an average Indian lives up to 69 to 72 years, whereas a doctor lives only up to 55 to 59 years, which is shocking, which is actually shocking. There was a study conducted by IMA Kerala in 2017. The average lifespan of a Kerala doctor is 62 years, and average lifespan of a Keralite is more than 75 years now. So see, society needs experts like us, like you, for years in good health. And you know that we should be fit, we should be healthy, not for us, actually, no, for the nation, for the patients, for the masses. So we should be commit to be fit. See, you know that this is the World Health Day 2020 theme. Let's build a fairer, healthier world for everyone. So that is the importance of exercise and fitness, because we, the doctors, we along with, you know, that the advances in modern medicine, the tireless work by all of us, the vaccines, the antibiotics, definitely the cheap food also contribute, made the lifespan from 38 in 1940s to almost 75 plus now. That is due to our contribution, but actually the lifespan of the Indian doctors is less. Definitely stress is also a factor, but the life the lack of exercise and the habits are also a main villain. I know that advice on lifestyle modification is difficult. It is always like a super duper Hindi film. It contains sentiments like this. Gravity has lowered my chest, my stomach, and my butt. Why hasn't it lowered my cholesterol? Arguments like this: dinosaurs didn't smoke cigarettes, drink alcohol, or eat junk food. And where are they now? Advices like this: an excellent way to lose weight is skipping snacks and desserts. And like any other Hindi duper super film, it has got happy endings. I was on a strict diet for a month and lost 30 days. Coming to the, before going to the problem, I will come to the statistic. You know that India has got a dubious distinction of the diabetes capital of the world. See the statistics in 2011, the statistics shown that China is on the top position. We are on the second position. And the projected thing is that in 2030 also, China will be on the top position. India will be on the second position. Still, we are considered as the diabetic capital of the world. Why? See, we can see the growth in China as not as high as in India. There is something called a conversion rate. Conversion rate is the percentage of pre-diabetic persons turning diabetic each year. That is a conversion rate. That is almost 10% in India. It is, ranges between 8 to 10% in different part of the world, country. But in other countries, including China, it is only 2 to 5%. That is why India is considered as a diabetic capital of the world. See, we are on the second position in diabetes and second position in obesity also. The US is on the first position, India on the second, and China on the third. Coming to Kerala, see, this is the 2007 National Family Health Survey, shows that Kerala is on the second position, second only to Punjab, like in the what per capita consumption of alcohol. Punjab is on the first, Kerala is on the second. So Punjab, see, the 30% of males and almost 38% of females are obese. And in Kerala in 2007, a quarter of males and 1/3 of females were obese. This is the, see, this is another study. It's a study by Bindu Anil in 2014. Urban Trivandrum, almost 40% is obese, and rural Trivandrum, 24% is obese. This is a latest study, the National Family Health Survey 2020, published in November 2020. See the statistics of Kerala. It shows that obesity, see, from 33% in 2007, it increased to 38% in females, and from 24.8% in 2007 to 36% in males. See the number of hypertensive, 1/3, more than 1/3 of females in Kerala are hypertensive, and 33% of males are hypertensive. Diabetic, 27% of females are diabetic, and 25% of males are diabetic. And we are obese, but see the anemia, the percentage of anemia, 36% of females are anemic in Kerala, and 18% of males are anemic in Kerala. See, this is the current statistics. And why we become obese and diabetes and having other lifestyle disease, why it is increasing. You know this famous picture, see the size of TV in 1990s. We have got big TVs like Dianora, Sony, etc., Keltron. Gradually, the size of the TV decreased, and see the size of the viewers. Now we have got ultra slim TV, and you can see the size of the viewers, even the pet. See the size of the pet. See, this is a fact. When the household items get slimmer, the users get fatter. This is a fact. You can see our new gen, do everything in front of the computer. And we know that we are injecting this this culture, the bad life culture into our newer gen also. And you know that another famous picture, previously we have got malnutrition, now we have got malnutrition. Yes, you will eat, you will get what you eat. So you know that. So the lack of exercise and the the increased calorie intake. So I will be discussing only on the exercise. You know, for maintaining body weight, there should be a balance between intake and utilization. For in utilization, we have got what basal metabolic rate and physical activity. Few slides on the benefits of exercise. I will rush through that. You know that regulate BP, lipid control or prevent diabetes. Definitely, in the if you detect diabetes in the pre-diabetic phase, definitely you can correct it. You can make the persons non-diabetic. Prevent cancers, decrease stress, then maintain BMT, improve sleep, enhance immune function, and weight control. Last thing, there's a confusion regarding weight control. Is exercise essential to reduce body weight? See this. 30 minutes, we usually advise 30 minutes of brisk walking per day. So a 30-minute brisk walking will burn around 100 to 200 kilocalories according to the weight. So it would take 9 to 12 weeks to lose 1 kg. The body fat is body fat. We're exercising 5 times a week. So the recommended calorie restriction for weight loss is approximately 500 to 1000 or more kilocalorie per day. Therefore, calorie restriction is going to be more effective. So see this. So 30-minute brisk walking will burn around 100 to 200 calories. So if a person asks you, why do you advise exercise, doctor? Can I avoid 2 idlis, 1 vada, 2 coffees, or 1 dosa, 2 slices of bread, 1 chapati, etc., which contains almost 100 to 200 calories? Why do you advise me 30 minutes of exercise? Why should I waste 30 minutes from my busy schedules? So why should we exercise? What should be your answer? So you know that persons are very, very, very confused due to the messages coming from the WhatsApp, Facebook, etc., and also due to the ads. The ads usually confuse you. This is Anu's English Academy and nothing else. So it's like this Fair and Lovely ad, or ads on obesity management definitely confuse you. We have got oils like this, the famous Lavana Thailam, different sorts of bells in shape and slim centers like this. See, this is an ad. This ads like this. 3 kg loss or 30,000, 5 kg loss or 50K, and Easter and some offers will be there, like 1.5 kg loss free. I don't know how they give 1.5 kg loss free. I don't know. So these are so this ads like this definitely confuse you, and sometimes some treatment ads will make you in dangerous position. See, മെലിയാൻ പച്ചില മരുന്ന് കഴിച്ച യുവാവ് പ്രമേഹം കൂടി മരിച്ചു. This is a news 3-4 years back. See, my low-fat diet really works. The fat hangs lower every day. Is it true? Is it true that when you are on diet alone without exercise, will your obesity worsen? See, we'll come to it. So if you are on diet alone, what happens? So if a 70 kg person tries to reduce weight by dieting alone, what happens? So there is a lipostat, like thermostat, glucostat, etc., that exists in the body. Body will resist change in fat size. So if this person tries to reduce weight by reducing the food intake, what happens initially, the body will resist this, 70 kg loss from this 70 kg. So there is a homeostasis. So the body, what will the body do first? Body will increase the appetite by what? By increasing the production of ghrelin. You know that ghrelin is the strongest orexigenic hormone produced from the gut. That will act on the ventral lobe of the hypothalamus, and the person will have increased appetite. So if this person conquers that appetite also, then the body will reduce the BMR. The signs, you know that signs of the symptoms of reducing the BMR, the person will be sleepy, there will be decreased activity, the person will be lazy. So the body will reduce the BMR and the body will maintain the weight. And later on, the person continues the severe dieting, and later on, the energy intake is not even sufficient to maintain the BMR. What happens is that we naturally think that the calories will be taken from the lipids, the fat cells, but actually what happens is there will be a lipostat, fat will be stable, but the muscles, the proteins will be taken from the muscles. You know that protein along with liver is the site for metabolism. So when there is a decrease in muscle mass, what happens is that there will be worsening of the metabolic status. So when you are on a diet, they tend to put on as much or more weight than they took. And the weight is put back, it's mostly fat, but the percentage of fat will increase because there will be a reduced muscle mass. So I'll give you two cases. Case one, 30-year-old teacher, sedentary like many of us, complaints of generalized aches and pains. There is easy fatigue, increased appetite, increasing weight. The investigations are normal, except increased waist circumference and increased triglyceride. So there is also no signs of depression. So this is the case one. Case two, a 28-year-old runs daily vigorously, spend 4 hours in gym daily. He also have the same problems, the generalized aches and pains, frequent injuries. Investigations again normal, except increased triglycerides, same as that sedentary lady. Here a youngster who runs daily, spends hours in gym, has got the same clinical features and the same abnormal investigations, and there are also no signs of depression. So we'll come to it. Before that, what is fitness and what is health? See, the fitness is the ability to perform the physical activity, and one can define the limits of your fitness. I can walk a mile a day or train for a marathon or triathlon. So the limit is endless. So health is the optimal balance of all systems of the body, the nervous system, the muscular, the skeletal, the circular, all systems, including the mind. So see, few slides on exercise physiology should understand few points. You know, the energy balance, I won't go to the details. The energy expenditure, there are 3 categories. One is a BMR, one is a thermic effect of the food, the energy we require to metabolize the food, which is also known as postprandial thermogenesis, and also the physical activity. See, the basal metabolic rate is almost 60. The total from the main contributor of the total energy expenditure is the BMR, contribute approximately 60 to 75%. You can increase the BMR in 2 ways: by increasing the muscle mass or by increasing the activity and the number of mitochondria in muscle cells. Then even if you increase the muscle mass, the overall benefit is almost 5%. Physical activity, you know that the energy utilized for all bodily movements throughout the day. A daily physical activity which accounts for 20 to 30% of total energy expenditure is the best way of modifying it. Energy systems, energy expenditure and efficiency. You know that energy systems are metabolic systems. involving series of chemical reactions resulting in the formation of ATP, carbon dioxide, and water. There are three major energy systems. It is a bit more, but pardon me, it is very important. You know that the first is the ATP-PC system, which is for emergency. But even with training, you will get ATP enough for 10 to 20 or maximum 30 seconds of intense exercise. Second is an anaerobic glycolytic system, where glycogen is the fuel source. Oxygen is not needed initially in both these systems. And the aerobic system, where oxygen is used to burn what? Glucose and fat. Okay, these are the three systems. I won't go to the details. This is the anaerobic glycolysis system. Glycogen is the fuel source, and lactic acid is produced as the byproduct. Here, the aerobic system, the glucose and fat are utilized. The burned with the along with oxygen. See, these are two we have got two muscle fibers. Actually, there is four. One is type 1 is oxidative. It is red because of the number of more number of mitochondria. Type 2 is actually white, anaerobic. Probably this is the most important part, or most important part of my presentation. See, glycogen, when burned anaerobically, like in anaerobic glycolytic system, totally we get 4 ATPs, 1 will be used, and 3 is the result. So glycogen, when used anaerobically, we will get 3 ATPs. Glucose, when burned in the what the red muscles, that is the aerobic muscles, we will get 38 to 39 ATPs. 2 to 3 will be used. The result will be 36. And fatty acids can be burned only in the mitochondria aerobically, will give you 140 to 150 ATPs according to the chain size. So, see, keep it in mind, this is the most important thing. See, coming back to the exercise, will exercise add years to your life? This is a very, very important question. Will exercise increase your lifespan? Several studies like this have shown that an exercising person will have 15 to 20 years more lifespan than a sedentary person. Okay. $1 million question will be, will it add life to your years, to the years? So will it add life to the added years? And what is the importance of adding years to your life when there is no life in the added years? The question is, will you be active in the added years also? Yes. Again, the studies have shown that an active person will have 15 to 20 years more lifespan than a sedentary person. And this active person will be independent, at least in his or her ideal, in this added 15 to 20 years. അപ്പോൾ മലയാളത്തിൽ പറഞ്ഞാണെങ്കിൽ ആക്റ്റീവ് പേഴ്സണിന് നടന്ന് മരിക്കാം, സെഡൻറ്ററി പേഴ്സണ് കിടന്ന് മരിക്കാം. See, if a sedentary person starts exercising in later years also, he will have some benefits as that of an active person. Okay, we will get start this the presentation. Actually, from here we will start the presentation. This is the guidelines by the American College of Sports Medicine in 2011. The same guideline is there for American Heart Association, American Diabetic Association, and the IDF. See, these are the exercise to be done by an adult. There should be cardiovascular exercise. There should be resistance exercise. There should be flexibility exercise. That is actually reverse for few. And for few, there should be neuromuscular exercise also. We'll come to each one. The question is, are we giving advice on exercise for patients who are obese or having lifestyle diseases? If yes, are we giving the correct advice, the correct one? If yes, are the patients doing it correctly, or are we doing it correctly? See, coming to the aerobic exercise, these are all the aerobic exercise. Aerobic exercise is defined as what? The exercise using large muscles of your body rhythmically for a period of 15 to 20 minutes or more, and by maintaining the heart rate between 15 to 70% of maximum. That is a moderate heart rate. So using large muscle groups of your body rhythmically for a period of 15 to 20 minutes while maintaining the heart rate in a moderate range. That is the 15 to 70% of maximum. So these are our all aerobic exercise like walking, running, swimming, Zumba, dancing, anything, games, etc. are all aerobic. But the thing is that all these can be done aerobically or anaerobically. Definitely there's a confusion regarding this statement. See, this is the recommendation. Engage in 150 minutes or more of moderate intensity aerobic activity per week, spread over at least 3 days per week, without not more than 2 days of rest. Okay, that is a recommendation. See, there is a confusion. Definitely there is a confusion. What is aerobic actually? I have defined aerobic. And what is moderate intensity? How can we do exercise moderately? See, this is the definition I have already mentioned. It is also known as cardios. The aerobic exercise is also known as cardios. So why this is known as cardios? Because it is actually basically cardioprotective. You know that the cardioprotective exercise will have ultimately what? Increase preload and decrease afterload. Okay. This is the physiological adaptation in muscles. There will be increased capillary density. There will be more capillary formation in the muscles. There will be increased myoglobin and mitochondria. There will be increased vasodilation, and ultimately more oxygen, which is the fuel of the human body, will be extracted from the given blood. Okay. The most important thing is increased capillary density. You know that force is inversely proportional to the R/4. The Poisson's equation. So when there is increased capillary density, so the afterload will be less. The force to be exerted by the heart to pump blood will be very, very, very less. So there will be decreased what? Afterload. So there will be increased preload because due to exercise, there will be some peripheral, the hypertrophy of the peripheral muscles, there will be increased preload. And there will be, see, that I have already mentioned that there will be decreased vascular resistance and the afterload. There will be increased trocholium. The oxygen will be extracted maximally. So what? The oxygen demand of the periphery will be less because of the diastolic period, so that the heart can reduce the rate. Because the reduced heart rate, there will be increased diastolic period and the heart will have more oxygen. So this is why aerobic exercise is known as cardios. So see, coming back to that important slide, the efficiency of the system glycogen will give you 3 ATP, but burned what? Anaerobically, glucose 36, aerobic and free fatty acid 140 to 150 ATPs. The aerobic fitness also means your ability of your body to utilize free fatty acid as a main energy source. So that is so aerobic fitness is cardio. It also means that your ability to utilize free fatty acid as the main energy source. So you know that if your body uses free fatty acid, the body will be more and more efficient. So if a vehicle will give you 10 kilometers per liter, and if another vehicle will give you 24 kilometers per liter, the second vehicle will be more efficient. So if your body is able to use free fatty acid as the main energy source, your body, your system will be more efficient than using glycogen anaerobically. That is the crux. So the more energy you derive from fat, the better your fitness, health, and human performance. So by increasing your fat burning system, you will improve the metabolic efficiency. So if your body is using more fat, the body will store less fat. you won't need as much sugar for energy. Your appetite will decrease. See, if you are aerobically fit, your body will be using free fatty acid, which will give you 140 to 160 ATPs. So if you are anaerobically fit, or you are not aerobically fit, your body is working anaerobically, your anaerobic muscles will be used for the daily activities. The anaerobic muscles will be using what? Glycogen as the fuel source. The glycogen will be giving you 2 to 3 ATPs. So you need to take what? More glucose. So your appetite will be more. On the contrary, if you are aerobically fit, your body will be using free fatty acid as the main energy source. A molecule of free fatty acid will give you 140 to 160 ATPs. So definitely there will be what? Decreased appetite, and there will be decreased craving for glucose-rich food. So when you improve your aerobic system, the fat burning capacities, you may be able to obtain 70% of your energy from fat and 30% from sugar. You definitely will need sugar for the working of the CNS. Yes, but persons with aerobic deficiency only get 10% of their energy from fat, forcing the full 90% to come from sugar. So there will be more appetite and more craving for what? Glucose-rich food. So coming back to the case one, this teacher, sedentary, generalized aches and pains, easy fatigue, increased appetite, etc. And there was also increasing weight. So there is increased triglyceride. This person is suffering from what is known as aerobic deficiency syndrome. Probably this is the disease of the century, and many of the professionals are having aerobic deficiency syndrome, where the system is not able to use what? Free fatty acid. Their system is working by utilizing the anaerobic system. So this is called aerobic deficiency syndrome. So see, this aerobic deficiency syndrome is when the aerobic system is not well developed and maintained. So this is a major risk factor for lifestyle diseases. And you know the symptoms I have already mentioned: fatigue, generalized aches, pains, frequent hunger, and craving for sweets, excess fat storage. So coming to the exercise prescription. See, I won't go to the details, but the exercise prescription actually should be tailor-made. You should give consideration to the work schedule, hobbies, interests, skills, abilities, etc. The thing is that initially, if you start exercise, the early enthusiasm sometimes demand high pace, but you should not do that. You should start exercise with mild pace, should be gentle, then gradually step up. The dictum is that what one has not done for a lifetime, it cannot be accomplished overnight. So the thing is, start slowly and go steadily. See, the intensity. See, the person describes aerobic exercise as a series of strenuous exercise which help convert fats, sugars, and proteins to aches, pains, and cramps, means that person is doing it wrongly. See, this is intensity. The maximum, you know that maximum heart rate is there's a formula 220 minus h. So we should start with 50% of maximum heart rate, then increase to 60 to 70%. That is the moderate intensity. The thing is that you will have an aerobic fitness. You will have an aerobic fitness with training when you are trained between the heart rate of 60 to 70. That means between 50 to 70. That should be more than 50%, up to 70%. So if you are training with less than 50% heart rate, it is aerobic, but you won't get the benefits of aerobic exercise. You won't get aerobically fit. And if you are trained more than with heart rate of more than 70%, you will be trained anaerobically. Your anaerobic system will develop. So the intensity should be between 50 to 70%. So there is a simple test, the talk test. the simple advice on intensity. Mild means, it's a very simple thing. Mild means you can sing when you exercise. That means you are exercising aerobically, but not up to the mark. You won't get any benefits of, you won't get any aerobic fitness. Second is moderate intensity. That means you can talk. You cannot sing, you can talk. That means you had reached the desired 50 to 70% level. Vigorous means you had crossed the aerobic mark. That means you cannot talk because and you can say only words. That means you had crossed the aerobic mark. This is a simple test. But if you want to exercise scientifically, you should buy a fitness tracker like this. So this will give you the exact heart rate. This will cost around 1,500 to 5,000 rupees. For if you want to exercise scientifically, you should buy a fitness band or tracker. Coming to the case 2, the 28-year-old he runs daily vigorously. He spent hours in gym. He have generalized aches and pains, frequent injuries, very similar symptoms of that of that sedentary lady. This person is having a syndrome of anaerobic excess. So there is an imbalance between aerobic and anaerobic system. In this person, aerobic system is not developed. His system is working anaerobically. So what he should change this training actually. So here there is more utilization of aerobic fibers, and his main fuel is actually glucose. He will have more appetite that also for glucose rich food. His system won't use free fatty acid. There will be triglyceridemia, and there will be cardiac risk. So these are the two syndromes. One is the syndrome of aerobic deficiency. Most of us are having a syndrome of aerobic deficiency, and few of us who are exercising wrongly will be having the syndrome of anaerobic excess. So the last few slides. So an exercise should have 3 phases. First is the warm-up. See, the warm-up is not stretching. The warm-up is the first step of exercise. By slowly shifting the blood into the working muscles. That means you should raise the heart rate from the resting to the desired. That is the between the 50 to 70%. Okay. The key word is slow. The first 5 to 10 minutes should be for the warm-up to elevate the heart rate from the resting to the desired heart rate. So A is the warm-up, B is the exercise for prop, and C the cool-off. So second is third is a cool down, the final 5 to 15 minutes of exercise. That is to slowly lower the heart rate from the maximum aerobic level to the near resting level. And you should nearly re-establish the normal circulation so that you can decrease the cramps and post-exercise peripheral edema. So these are the 3 phases. First is the warm-up. Second is the exercise proper, which should be 15 to 20 minutes, and last 5 to 15 minutes to be cooled down. See, this is coming back to the recommendation. This is the recommendation: engage in 150 minutes or more of moderate intensity aerobic activity per week, and not 150 minutes of walking per week. It should be 150 minutes of moderate intensity activity. That means the middle part should be 150 minutes. Or if you are exercising 30 minutes per day, the B should be 30. And there should be 5 to 10 minutes of warm up and another 5 to 10 minutes of cool off. So a proper exercise of 30 minutes will be actually 40 to 50 minutes actually. So B is the moderate intensity exercise. A should be 5 to 10 minutes of warm up, and C should be cool down phase. Okay. Resistance exercise, I won't go to the details. We should have resistance exercise, but we should mix it. You know that the American Diabetic Association and the Sports Medicine, even the Heart Association says there should be what? There should be exercise of aerobic exercise 150 minutes. And except American Heart Association, others advise what? Resistance training. 2 days, 2 to 3 days per week. So there should be anaerobic training. Anaerobic training means resistance exercise means using what? Your body weight or external what devices to what resist your muscles. So this can produce what? Muscle hypertrophy. Okay. So the thing is that there should be definitely there should be resistance training, because there after age of 30 per decade there will be 5% muscle mass loss. So there should be what anaerobic training also. So it can increase what? It can increase what your muscle bulk, and it can increase the BMR. But there should be balance between aerobic and anaerobic. You should not need costly equipments. You can use dumbbell, or you can fill a bottle with sand. A half kg bottle with sand will be around 1 to 1.25 kg. Or you can use simple resistant bands like TheraBands. I won't go to the details of resistance exercise. Lastly, the precautions. See, Lalit in using a leather jacket under the hot sun. You should not use what things like this, tracksuit like this, especially during the months of what January to February to May. The hot, humid climate can produce what heat stroke. Simple what cotton pants or an old T-shirt is enough. But if you want to invest for exercise, definitely you should buy a pair of good quality tennis shoe and a fitness band or tracker. Yes, this should be the two investments if you want to exercise properly and scientifically. And if you are a diabetic person, you know that there should be things like this, your address, your phone number, and sugar sachet, because this is the most common differential diagnosis in this part of the Kerala produced. The most different diagnosis of hypoglycemia produced by recreation centers like this. See, this is a gentleman who conquered aging by just proper lifestyle modification. Mamuka will be turning 71 this September. 70 this September. And the trawler says that this will be scenes from Dulquer's daughter's marriage. And this is my take-home message. The secret of staying healthy and young is to what? Do proper exercise, move a little more, eat a little less, and lie about your age. Ladies, Vishamikanda, she's Rekha, she's actually Lady Mammootty. She'll be turning 66 this October. So see, we have got two lifestyle options. Don't exercise, eat all you want, probably die early, or exercise daily, count calories, merely wish you were dead. So most of us are of having the first category. We cannot advise with a physique to patients. See, we cannot advise like this. We should be leaders to create proper roads for others to undergo proper lifestyle. And we should make, that we have got a dubious distinction of the diabetic capital of the world. We have got the maximum number of CVD patients in the world. So we should build a new India, a healthy India. And thank you very much for the patient listening. Over to the chair.
Thank you, Roy sir, for the excellent talk. If anyone want to ask some doubts or make some comments, can unmute and ask.
Hello, Dr. Roy, ഞാൻ ഗീതയാണേ.
Madam.
Okay, വളരെ സന്തോഷം കേട്ടോ. ഡോക്ടർ ബിന്ദുഷ ഇങ്ങനെ പറഞ്ഞു പണ്ട് റോയുടെ ഒരു ടോക്ക് കേട്ട് ഭയങ്കര ഇംപ്രസ്ഡ് ആയിരുന്നു. അപ്പൊ എനിക്കും വളരെ സന്തോഷം കേട്ടായിട്ട്.
Thank you, madam.
പിന്നെ ഈ റിസ്റ്റ് ബാൻഡ് ഇല്ലേ അത് എനിക്ക് വാങ്ങിച്ചാൽ കൊള്ളാന്നുണ്ട്. എങ്ങനെ നമ്മള് ഏത് ബ്രാൻഡാ നല്ലത്? പറഞ്ഞല്ലോ 1500 to 5000 എന്ന്. ഏതായിരിക്കും ഒരു
cheapest MI band ആണ്. MI band.
ഓക്കെ.
അതിനാണെങ്കിൽ 1500 to 2000 ആണ് മാഡം.
ഓക്കെ.
അതിന്റെ ആവശ്യമുള്ളൂ. നമുക്ക് ഈ ഹാർട്ട് റേറ്റ് മാത്രം അറിയാൻ അതിന്റെ ആവശ്യമുള്ളൂ.
അതെ. ശരി.
നമ്മളിപ്പോ ഈ പറഞ്ഞ പോലെ നിങ്ങളുടെ എനിക്കൊന്ന് അല്ലെ IAPS ഡൂയിങ് സം അല്ലെ യൂസിങ് സം ആപ്സ് ടു കൗണ്ട് വാട്ട് സ്റ്റെപ്സ്.
ഞങ്ങളുടെ ഗൂഗിൾ ഫിറ്റ്.
I don't know.
അത് ഗൂഗിൾ ഫിറ്റ് എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞിട്ട് അത് നമ്മുടെ മൊബൈലാണ്. മൊബൈൽ ഉണ്ടെങ്കിൽ അത് കൗണ്ട് ചെയ്യും.
ഞാൻ നേരത്തെ പറഞ്ഞ പോലെ if you want to exercise scientifically and if you want to get what aerobic benefits ഇതുപോലെ തന്നെ ചെയ്യണം. Otherwise you will be active but you won't be healthy. You feel that you are active but you won't be healthy. നമ്മൾ ഒന്നും ചെയ്യാതിരിക്കുന്ന ആളുകൾക്ക് doing anything, even gardening will have some benefits because there will be some activity, right? Adana nammude yoga is sometimes effective ennu parayunnathu. It is have some benefits but it don't have the 100% aerobic benefits. There will be some benefits. Ella benefits illennu maathre ullu. So step nokkunadine kolappilla but you will be active but you won't be healthy 100%.
ipo evideyana? Calicut aano?
Ade madam.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, madam.
Santosh sir, ഉണ്ടെന്ന് തോന്നുന്നു സാർ. അൺമ്യൂട്ട് ചെയ്യോ സാർ?
അൺമ്യൂട്ട് ചെയ്യോ സാർ? അൺമ്യൂട്ട് ചെയ്യോ? കേൾക്കുന്നില്ല. സാർ അൺമ്യൂട്ട് ചെയ്യണം.
Sorry, I was muted. First of all, thank you, Dr. Roy, for a different type of approach. സാധാരണ കേൾക്കുന്നതിൽ നിന്നും വ്യത്യസ്തമായ ഒരു അപ്രോച്ച്. ഇടയ്ക്ക് എനിക്കൊരു ലേശം മിസ് ചെയ്തു ബിക്കോസ് ഓഫ് മൈ ഗ്രാൻഡ് സൺസ് ഇന്റർവെൻഷൻ. പക്ഷേ എങ്കിലും മിക്കവാറും എല്ലാം ഞാൻ കേട്ടു. ബാക്കി ഞാൻ I think it will be available recorded. I'll listen to it later on. And thank you very much, Dr. Roy, for enlightening us. Regarding this, actually what I missed was that aerobic and anaerobic area I missed here. What I understand is moderate level of exercise കൊടുക്കുകയാണെങ്കിൽ aerobic ആവും. അങ്ങനെ am I right? Roy?
Sir, നമുക്ക് actually നമുക്ക് ബോഡിക്കകത്ത് 2 types of muscle fibers ആണ് grossly ആയിട്ടുള്ളത്.
So that I understood. Type 1 and type 2.
80% aerobic ആണ്, 20% only anaerobic. So anaerobic because it is for emergency, it will be there. എപ്പോ നോക്കിയാലും അത് അവിടെ കാണും. But aerobic actually that will get activated on training only. Anaerobic training only. This 80% will get properly activated on training only. But anaerobic will be there because that is for emergency, that will be there. എപ്പോഴും കാണും. So if you are aerobically unfit, the anaerobic system will be there. That will be utilizing what? Your glycogen. That will be giving only 2 to 3 ATPs. That will be producing the lactic acid as end product. That will produce aches and pains. That will increase your triglycerides because body is not able to use triglycerides. That will increase your obesity, especially the truncal obesity. This will produce again. That will increase appetite and that too craving for sugary food. So the hypothalamus will demand. You know that hypothalamus is the brain of the autonomic nervous system. The hypothalamus will demand the order you want to eat. സോ ദ എനേറോബിക് സിസ്റ്റത്തിലാണ് പോകുന്നുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ ഹൈപ്പോതലാമസ് നിങ്ങളെ കൊണ്ട് ഗ്ലൂക്കോസ് തന്നെ കഴിപ്പിക്കും. So if you are aerobically fit, that only happen with proper training. നേരത്തെ പറഞ്ഞു സയന്റിഫിക്കലി 150 minutes of exercise per week with moderate intensity heart rate. അങ്ങനെ ആകുമ്പോൾ മാത്രമാണ് നമ്മുടെ എയറോബിക് സിസ്റ്റം ആക്ടിവേറ്റഡ് ആകുന്നത്. അതുകൊണ്ട് ഞാൻ നേരത്തെ പറഞ്ഞത് എയറോബിക് എക്സസൈസ് ആർ വാക്കിംഗ്, റണ്ണിങ്, സ്വിമ്മിങ്, സൂംബ, ഡാൻസ്, ഗെയിംസ് എക്സെട്ര. ബട്ട് this can be done anaerobically if you do aerobic exercise with a heart rate of more than 70%. Actually you are being trained anaerobically. അതാണ് തെറ്റിദ്ധാരണ. നമ്മൾ വിചാരിക്കും ചില ആൾക്കാർ കിതച്ചൊക്കെ ഓടുന്നുണ്ടല്ലേ, കിതച്ചിട്ട്. ആളുകളുടെ വിചാരം എന്ന് വെച്ച് കഴിഞ്ഞാല് സ്വെറ്റ് ചെയ്താൽ ഒരു ബെനിഫിറ്റ് കിട്ടുമെന്നുള്ളതാണ്. അതൊരു തെറ്റിദ്ധാരണയാണ്. അങ്ങനെയാണ് നമ്മൾ അടുപ്പിന്റെ മുമ്പിൽ ചെന്ന് നിന്നാൽ മതിയാവും. അപ്പൊ സ്വെറ്റിങ്ങുമായിട്ടൊരു ബന്ധമില്ല. Sweating അല്ല പ്രശ്നം. If you are during exercise, if you are sweating excessively, if you are huffing, panting, etc., that means you had crossed the aerobic range. You are now being trained anaerobically. അപ്പൊ നിങ്ങളുടെ എനേറോബിക് സിസ്റ്റം ആണ് ഇപ്പൊ ആക്ടിവേറ്റഡ് ആകുന്നത്. അപ്പൊ നമുക്ക് കിട്ടുന്ന ബെനിഫിറ്റ് വേറെയാണ്. അതാണ് ഞാൻ ആ കേസ് 2 നമ്മളിത് കാണാറുണ്ട് പേഷ്യൻസിനെ. എനിക്ക് തോന്നുന്നു എനേറോബിക് ഡെഫിഷ്യൻസി ഉള്ള പല ആൾക്കാർ ഇവിടെ തന്നെ ഇരിക്കുന്നുണ്ടായിരിക്കും. അവർക്ക് ഈ സ്ലോ സസ്റ്റെയിൻ എയറോബിക് മസിൽസ് ആർ ഫോർ സ്ലോ സസ്റ്റെയിൻ ആക്ടിവിറ്റീസ് ലൈക്ക് ഡേ ടു ഡേ ആക്ടിവിറ്റീസ് ആൻഡ് സിറ്റിംഗ്. നമ്മളിവിടെ ഇരിക്കുന്നുണ്ടല്ലോ. അപ്പൊ കുറച്ച് സമയം ഇരിക്കുമ്പോൾ തന്നെ കുറെ പേർക്ക് നടുവേന വന്നിട്ടുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ, വേറെ പ്രശ്നങ്ങളൊന്നും ഇല്ലെങ്കിൽ, ലൈക്ക് അനീമിയ, വൈറ്റമിൻ ഡെഫിഷ്യൻസി അങ്ങനെയൊന്നും ഇല്ലെങ്കിൽ, യു ആർ ഹാവിംഗ് എയറോബിക് ഡെഫിഷ്യൻസി സിൻഡ്രോം, യു ആർ അറ്റ് ഹൈ റിസ്ക് ഓഫ് CVDs. അങ്ങനെയാണ്. അപ്പൊ നമുക്ക് സ്ലോ സസ്റ്റെയിൻഡ് ആക്ടിവിറ്റി ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റില്ല. പല ആൾക്കാരും പറയല്ലേ, നമുക്ക് ഈ OP ഇരിക്കാൻ വയ്യ, കമ്പ്യൂട്ടറിന് വേണ്ടി ഇരിക്കാൻ വയ്യ, യാത്ര ചെയ്യുമ്പോൾ വേനൊക്കെ പറഞ്ഞ് വരാറുണ്ട് അല്ലെ, കുറെ കൂടുതൽ ആൾക്കാരുണ്ട്. സോ പ്രോബ്ലി ദേ ആർ ഹാവിംഗ് എയറോബിക് ഡെഫിഷ്യൻസി സിൻഡ്രോം, ദേ ആർ അറ്റ് ഹൈ റിസ്ക്. അവരൊക്കെ നമുക്ക് ടെസ്റ്റ് ചെയ്യുമ്പോൾ നമുക്ക് അറിയാൻ പറ്റും. ഒന്നും ഇല്ലെങ്കിൽ കൂടി ദർ വിൽ ബി ഹൈ ട്രൈഗ്ലിസറൈഡ് ഓർ ലോ HDL. അപ്പൊ അതാണ് ഇപ്പൊ നമ്മുടെ ഇത് പ്രധാനപ്പെട്ട കാര്യം എന്ന് വെച്ച് കഴിഞ്ഞാല്, ഫോർ ആക്ടിവേഷൻ ഓഫ് ദ എയറോബിക് സിസ്റ്റം യു ഷുഡ് ഹാവ് പ്രോപ്പർ സയന്റിഫിക് ട്രെയിനിങ്. ഇത് ചെയ്യണമെങ്കിൽ നിങ്ങൾക്ക് നിങ്ങളുടെ ഹാർട്ട് റേറ്റ് മെഷർ ചെയ്യാൻ അറിയണം. അപ്പൊ അതില്ലെങ്കിൽ കുഴപ്പമില്ല. ഞാൻ നേരത്തെ പറഞ്ഞു സംതിങ് കോൾഡ് ടോക്ക് ടെസ്റ്റ്. ടോക്ക് ടെസ്റ്റ് ചിലപ്പോൾ തെറ്റും, എസ്പെഷ്യലി ദോസ് ഹു ആർ യൂസിങ് ബീറ്റാ ബ്ലോക്കേഴ്സ്. ഈ ബീറ്റാ ബ്ലോക്കേഴ്സ് ഒക്കെ ഉപയോഗിക്കുന്ന ആളുടെ ഹാർട്ട് റേറ്റ് അതായത് നമ്മൾ 50 ഒക്കെ മെയിൻറ്റെയിൻ ചെയ്താൽ മതിയാവും. സോ ഓക്കെ, 50 എങ്കിലും എത്തണം. അതുവരെ എത്തുള്ളൂ മിക്കവാറും.
Thank you, Roy. Over to Praveen.
Thank you. വേറെ എന്തെങ്കിലും ചോദിക്കാനുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ ചോദിക്കാം.
ഈ ഫീമെയിൽസ് ആൻഡ് മെയിൽസിൽ എന്തെങ്കിലും വ്യത്യാസം ഉണ്ടോ ഈ അനേറോബിക് ആൻഡ് എയറോബിക്കില്?
ഇല്ല സാർ ഹാർട്ട് റേറ്റ് ഇല്ല സാർ, ഹാർട്ട് റേറ്റ് സെയിം ആണ് സാറേ. അതിൽ ജെൻഡർ ഡിഫറൻസ് ഇല്ല.
Okay.
So we will wind up the program here. I invite Dr. Meena Krishnan, Vice President IAP Trivandrum, for the vote of thanks. Dr. Meena Krishnan.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
കേൾക്കാമോ?
കേൾക്കാം, പറഞ്ഞോ.
My job is to say the vote of thanks. Dr. Roy, it was a wonderful talk. ഒരു പുതിയ രീതിയിലാണ് അവതരിപ്പിച്ചത്. എക്സസൈസിങ് ഇങ്ങനെയാണെന്നുള്ളത് സത്യം പറഞ്ഞാൽ ഇന്നാണ് ഞാൻ മനസ്സിലാക്കുന്നത്. ഒരു എയ്റോബിക്കും എനേറോബിക്കും സിസ്റ്റം ഉണ്ടെന്നും നമ്മൾ ഈ വെറുതെ നടക്കാൻ പോകുന്നത് എക്സസൈസ് ആയിട്ട് കൂട്ടൂല എന്നുള്ളതും മനസ്സിലായി. സന്തോഷ് സാറാണ് സെഷൻ ചെയർ ചെയ്തത്. താങ്ക് യു സർ. And Bala sir and Narayanan sir also addressed the meeting and gave felicitations. Thank you all for a wonderful evening. Thank you.
Thank you all once again. Good night. Thank you.